Hey everyone, before we begin, if you watch our videos regularly, if we add value to your life, hit that subscribe button. And along with that, your notification bell. Complete the circle.
We're guilty of this too. Too often you watch a channel consistently and you're not subscribed.
Yeah.
Helps the algorithm. It helps our videos get recommended in the sidebar when people watch other vegan activist videos.
Of course, views are always important as well, which is why we also like to thank all the trolls for helping us out in that department. Can't stay off it.
Engagement helps.
And my goodness, not one comment, not two.
They leave a lot.
They leave a lot.
What's cool about trolls too is that trolls will leave their comment and then leave a second one or a third one, and then they'll go and they'll wait. Like they have all the time in the world to wait for other people to comment on the video, and then they respond to their comments, and then that starts a thread.
Yeah.
And so they're just all sorts of engagement.
Oh, and if you are recent to our channel, we started out with like recipes,
2016.
and I was just watching some of our older videos and it's like so cringe. The point is, we used to make food, and if you want to find recipes, just go way back to like 5 years ago. You can filter by date. Check out our Etsy store too. We are discontinuing our t-shirts, so we're almost out of certain designs. We are focusing on stickers, digital prints, things that are easy to mail, that don't leave as heavy of a footprint on the environment.
And of course, a massive thank you, heartfelt, sincere thank you to all of our Patreon patrons. Anyone who's ever donated to the channel, thank you. There's no amount that's too small. We have rescued 9 chickens from slaughter to date. Currently, our animal rescue fund is supporting Tony.
Yes.
Tony is our rescue rooster.
Speaking of Tony, he's about to fall off
Tony.
the couch. My boy.
We're gonna do a video.
You can eat your snacks.
I love you.
Oops. Let's begin today's topic.
So for today's video, climate change is real and it's man-made. And it's insane that we now live in a world where we have to state that as if it's anything other than what it is, an obvious, measurable fact backed by data. More than 99% of peer-reviewed scientific papers agree that climate change is mainly caused by humans, according to a survey of 88,125 climate-related studies.
That's a lot of studies. Also, the sky is blue, the earth is a sphere, and evolution occurs. Very controversial stuff. Environmental activists have been screaming about the potential dangers of not acting on climate change since the 1970s. But so far, humanity has done virtually nothing to combat the insane levels of greenhouse gas emissions, leading us to where we are now.
We live in California, and it's pretty common now, every summer, without fail, for us to experience record high temperatures every year. Globally, many countries are now regularly experiencing abnormal heat, and there is no longer a wildfire season in California because they occur year-round.
A series of billboards has recently popped up here in California by a campaign called Save Our Water, which gives people advice on how to save water. And since we live in California, we thought it'd be great to discuss these tips.
This is very similar to how individuals are encouraged to ride a bike or carpool or buy an electric car to save on CO2 emissions, even though we know that only 100 companies have been responsible for more than 70% of greenhouse gas emissions since 1988.
By changing what we buy, we can actually make a huge impact on how much water is used by these large organizations. So it's not just habits around the house, it's what we buy, the money we put out there. Remember, supply and demand.
So let's take a look at Save Our Water's 8 simple habits to conserve water, and then we wanted to compare them to 8 ways to conserve water based on the Cowspiracy Facts page and see which methods would save more. And if you haven't seen Cowspiracy, you should. It's online. Go watch it.
Number 1, fill bathtub halfway or less. Filling up your bathtub halfway or less can save 17 to 25 gallons of water per person every bath. How often do people really take baths though?
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I took a bath.
And are people drawing baths?
I mean, it's a self-care thing. That requires time.
Yeah.
That I would rather not spend in
And I think
bathtub.
let's
say
just,
you do it once a week or once a month. The point is you can save 17 to 25 gallons of water per person.
And let's just go with the higher amount. Well,
25.
Why don't we just do that? 25 gallons. If you fill up your bathtub halfway, we go over to Cowspiracy. Versus 477 gallons of water are required to produce a pound of eggs.
That's 8 to 9 eggs. So less than a dozen.
Yeah.
That's less than your carton of eggs.
Yeah, if you buy a dozen eggs, you're already over 477. So you can fill up your bathtub halfway once a week to save 25, or you can not buy eggs and save over 477. I'm not great with math. So which
You're better
25 versus 477? I don't know which one of those numbers is higher. You could comment below.
How does it take 477 gallons of water? This is everything involved in the production of eggs. That involves the
start to finish.
Crops grown for the chickens' feed, the water that they drink, perhaps the water used in cleaning the eggs, transportation.
Chickens, when they're slaughtered, they get dipped into scalding baths. That's water.
Yeah.
Like chickens get slaughtered, that uses water. It's all the water.
That's all the water.
How frequently do people take a bath versus how frequently do they buy a dozen eggs?
We're not saying that these are bad tips. These are doable. That's the point, is that they are doable. They're small steps that we can take to make a difference. But we're saying
these are also doable.
Also doable, and they have greater results.
Number 2, fix leaks. By fixing leaks inside and outside the home, you can save 27 to 90 gallons of water each day. Yeah, this is a good one. Like if you have leaky pipes, you have leaky fixtures, leaky faucets, you need to get them replaced or repaired or just sealed properly with plumber's tape. Again, great tip.
Yeah.
So let's say you're saving 90 gallons every day by
fixing leaks.
Versus
almost 900 gallons of water are needed to produce 1 pound of cheese.
Oh, 90 to 900.
That's roughly 16 servings, so about 56 gallons per serving. And a serving would be like an ounce.
How many ounces in a slice of cheese?
1 ounce.
1 ounce, okay.
So 1 slice of cheese is 1 serving.
56 gallons of water in a slice of cheese. So even if you go buy the cow flesh burger, which you shouldn't do for moral reasons, let alone the water saving, but even if you were to eat a cow flesh burger and just say no cheese, that's 56 gallons.
And you might be saying, well, they already had the cheese. You're not really saving anything. Guess why they have the cheese? Supply and demand.
If people stop ordering cheese on their burgers, they're going to stop ordering cheese for the restaurant because it's going to sit in their fridge and it's going to expire.
Number 3, install aerators. Installing aerators can save 0.7 gallons per minute.
Aerators are good. We have an aerator on our kitchen sink. Versus, now this is them blaming the individual again, because they're like, hey, you should put an aerator on your faucet. Okay, let's say everyone in California puts an aerator on their faucet. 5% of water consumed in the US is by private homes. 55% of water consumed in the US is for animal agriculture. You've got a massive hole in the side of your house, and you're like, yeah, but what about, you see that tiny 3/8 of an inch hole that the ants are crawling through? Let's plug that. We'll ignore this. And let's fix this. Forget California. If everyone in the US installed aerators, that would be great, but that's still only 5% of the water consumed is in private homes. The animal agriculture industry is using 55%. Number 4, install high-efficiency toilets. Installing high-efficiency toilets can save 6 to 35 gallons per day. 35.
Versus 1,000 gallons of water are required to produce 1 gallon of milk, which means an 8-ounce glass of milk is about 63 gallons of water.
Now, you could drink an 8-ounce glass of water, or you could drink an 8-ounce glass of breast milk from a bovine mammal that needed 63 gallons of water to produce the same fluid amount that you're putting in your face. Just drink 8 ounces of water.
We've been off milk now for so long. It's crazy to me that people still think it's normal to drink the milk of another animal, a pregnant animal. We just decided that animal's milk, we need it. Select animals that we decided.
Joey Carbstrong, he recently put out a video where he was selling human breast milk. He called it like Hugh Milk, I think, or something. And it was on the street, and he was just giving away Oatly, but he was letting people sample human breast milk. Yeah. And people were like, what are you doing? And he was like, no, these are from human mothers who voluntarily gave their milk to us, and we pasteurize it and we process it and we resell it, and at least it's human milk. And people were like, this is so weird. You drink cow's milk. Why is it weird? This is at least human milk. It wasn't taken from a woman. She gave us the milk to sell. You know?
That's how
and people are like, ugh.
That's how conditioned. Scientifically, rewiring the brain takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just with anything, like trauma or habits that we've made for ourselves that are unhealthy, thought patterns. It takes a lot of work, I get it, but I think it should start at the root, which is the logic of it. Just think about it. Why would it be so weird to drink human milk?
You did it for like a year or two already when you were a baby.
Number 5, recycle indoor water and irrigate your garden. Recycling indoor water to use outdoors can cut water use by 30%.
Good tip. Versus Californians use 1,500 gallons of water per person per day. Close to half is associated with meat and dairy products. So if all Californians stopped eating meat and dairy, that 1,500 would go to 750. Yes, you're correct. Yes, recycle your indoor water and use it outside.
Yeah, we do that. We actually started doing that this summer because we have California native plants. In fact, anytime we plant anything, we try to stay native to the landscape, to the plants that grow here naturally that don't need as much water. Because holy moly, we'd be watering twice a day, every day. We put a pot in the sink so that anytime we're washing vegetables or dishes that are semi-clean, that water, and we catch it in the pot, and then I use that to water the plants that need watering. We do the same thing in the shower. When we start the shower, the water runs cold for a little bit. Even that small amount of water that we catch at the beginning eventually fills up our foot soak tub, and then we use that to water the plants.
Speaking of showers, number 6, take 5-minute showers. Keeping showers under 5 minutes can save 12.5 gallons per shower when using a water-efficient shower head.
Versus 2,500 gallons of water are needed to produce 1 pound of beef. So a quarter pounder of beef flesh burger takes at least 625 gallons, not including the cheese, which we spoke about before.
About that earlier. You knock off the cheese, the 1 ounce slice of cheese, that's 56 gallons.
Add that to
625. 625 plus 56 is... It's 681, kids. 681. Definitely. Shorter showers, sure. Don't just waste water just to waste water.
A 5-minute shower for me is a luxurious shower.
Yeah. Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
5 minutes is a long time. Next time you take a shower, like, put a 5-minute timer on. You'll see 5 minutes is plenty of time.
It's enough to sing 2 songs. Number 7, turn off water when brushing teeth or shaving. By turning off the water when brushing teeth or shaving, you can save 8 gallons of water per person per day.
This is actually something that I discovered was a thing the first time I had roommates. You just leave the water on when you're brushing your teeth. I didn't know that was a thing. That people just go to the sink and they turn the water on.
And just leave
it. And then they leave it on and they brush and they rinse.
It was my uncle who taught me. And I was very young. I was brushing my teeth and my uncle came in and shut the water off. He's like, save water. Back then in the 80s.
When we had a lot of time to fix all of this. We had so much time. Versus growing feed crops for livestock consumes 56% of water in the U.S. Wow. So 56% of water in the U.S. goes to just growing feed crops. All those crop deaths, though. All those crop deaths that people always complain about when they talk about veganism. Crop deaths, crop deaths, crop deaths. What are these feed crops? I wonder who they feed. Do they feed humans? And lastly, number 8, wash full loads of clothes and dishes. Washer saves 15 to 45 gallons per load. The dishwasher saves 5 to 15 gallons per load if you run the loads full.
Versus animal agriculture is responsible for 20% to 33% of all freshwater consumption in the world today. That's a lot.
Ooh, but compare that to 45 gallons.
Yeah, we tried to match these in a way that was semi-logical because you know gallons versus a percentage here, but it was just like that was just what was available. But even if you look at the most you can save with any of these 8 helpful tips is significantly less than the lowest amount of water that you can save with any of the facts from Cowspiracy.
If you take a 5-minute shower, you're saving 12.5 gallons a day if you shower every day, versus just simply not buying 1 dozen eggs will save you 477 gallons. And that's like the least, that's on the low side. They don't even compare. That's not to say that these are bad tips. Again, they're not bad tips.
No, they're
good tips. You should do everything you can to save water when we're having a water crisis. But everything you can includes little thinking outside the box. How many of these freaking G7 summits have we had where all the global leaders, they fly jets to one place and they get together and they're like, how can we combat? How can we do this? Let's think.
I think it's one of those ye of little faith things because I honestly think that they don't think that we are capable of making. I mean, we've seen it now, being vegan for 6 years, how difficult it is for people to make certain small changes, like stop eating cheese, changes like that. Like
that would make a huge,
that would make a huge difference. But it's also so difficult. Like I'm sure they sit there and they think, well, there is animal ag, but heck. Try telling people to stop eating meat. They throw a tizzy. They threw a tizzy because Cracker Barrel released a plant-based sausage patty last week. People were so offended it was like on CNN, and I opened the Instagram. I'm reading through the comments. People who were offended were calling vegans the snowflakes. You're the one being a wuss about eating your veggies.
I haven't read the article, but correct me if I'm wrong. They're not requiring that you buy the plant-based sausage, right? It's just an option.
People were saying things like, Cracker Barrel, that's so off-brand. Are you on the marketing team that you care?
Cracker Barrel brand is cruelty. That's our brand.
Well, yeah.
We're cruel to animals.
That's what... But that's what other people were saying. Like, goodness forbid they make a product that is anti-animal cruelty. So I think, that's what happens at these summits. These people sit down, they're like, no, forget it. We can't.
But it never comes up.
And also lobbyists. Let's not forget lobbyists are a huge part of this. There's monies exchanging. And pharmaceutical companies, it's so tied. That's not really a conspiracy because that's actually in the What the Health documentary. But why do we keep making these videos? Because we have faith, because we have seen the changes. People are capable of making a change.
Yeah.
I think it just takes repetition, a lot of time. I have faith. I have faith in people. I think people are intelligent when they want to be.
They're compassionate.
They're compassionate. Yeah, if you let that in. I know empathy, it's kind of like a skill now that you have to develop. We talked about that in our previous video, but we still have faith in you.
So that's it for the video, guys. Again, thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you to anyone who has purchased a shirt or a sticker or a pin or a digital download of a print from our Etsy store. All of our Patreon donations and all of our profits from Etsy go directly towards our Animal Rescue Fund, supporting Tony. Tony appreciates it. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.